with that on. Okay. So just coming back to the about the feet. So I love that one of the things that just came up was I love that you were like, this perspective we have of like, oh, they're like dirty and dry and cracked and ugly. And doesn't this sound so familiar to what we would say about pussy? Also, like, oh, she's like damp and dark and embarrassing and smelly, like it's so similar to how we could choose to talk about pussy. And so I find it so interesting how vulnerable our feet can be. And I've been so like such a similar in this, on the priestess path. And when I had my first experience where my feet were honored by fellow priestesses, I was sobbing because I was so like, I was like, I don't want you to touch my feet. Like, I just thought it was like so vulnerable. I felt like so embarrassed to have someone else like honoring my feet. And it was just like it was so interesting to see, like almost felt more vulnerable than actually having someone like I just remember one of the first in-person Regina practices where we had to inhale the scent of another woman's pussy. So I had, three different women like sniffing my pussy. And that, although very edgy, was I don't think like I think actually the practice with my feet literally felt more vulnerable. I cried harder than in those, well, maybe about the same. Maybe about the same. So I just find that so interesting. And one of the Mary Magdalene pieces for me too, it's again, this is channeled. I don't really know, but I think there's enough out of the Gnostic texts that we can pull where I really do believe. So I love how you were saying with your Pilates teacher, you're working on strengthening your toes. But in the same, like we know that Mary bathed Yeshua's feet. I think she as a priestess probably was doing this ritual with many more feet than just his. And I really think that the art of reflexology probably goes all the way back to Mary Magdalene lineage. Like, I truly think that she did know how to map out the feet, and we know she was a healer. And I'm sure she knew that, again, the soles of the feet were a map for the whole body. So I think it was so much more than an anointing. I really do think um, reflexology and the capacity to heal through points of the feet was another part of the magic that she was probably doing in rituals like that. Um, and it's like on my journey as someone who's a trained reflexologist, also, I was like, of course I did this. And it was like, had just done that training as I was starting my Magdalene awakening. So I'm like, oh, all of these pieces that make so much sense. So anyone else? Actually, I'd love to see hands. Is there anyone else here trained in reflexology?
I
Martha?
have been many years ago,
Tina?
yes.
Yeah. See? Okay. So interesting. Okay. So this is the perfect segue into our theme today, which is about the priestess path. And thank you, Katie, for sparking. I thought, what am I going to do today? And then, Katie, you came with this perfect comment. And I think this is the biggest thing that, like, when talking about the priestess path, is women are wondering, am I on it? And I also want to take a second to just reframe this isn't, I think Mary Magdalene always has sort of she does have a different perspective on things. So instead of us asking, how do I know if I'm on the priestess path? The way the Magdalene would phrase it is, where is the path already moving through me? Even if you feel like you haven't, even if you feel like, oh, of course there's a path. Wait, am I on it? So, just to open with a couple of like quieter signs that you might be able to observe about yourself to tell if you are on the path. So, one, because remember, her path is one of remembrance. You can there's the priestess path, the rose path, the left-handed path of the feminine. Uh, so many different ways that we can look at the priestess path. It could be the Magdalene lineage. And this all of these paths are a Gnostic path that we find ourselves on through a type of remembrance that happens. And uh, Megan Watterson referred to this as gnosis, which just landed so deeply in my bones, where the gnosis is literally the remembrance that's happening in your body. And it will feel like, it's not something that you can teach yourself through schooling or through books. I do think that remembrance can happen. If you find yourself in particular rooms or conversations or reading something, but the remembrance happens because of a sensation, a current of aliveness that tends to run through our body. So it's like, when you were like, remember something like at a cellular level, like the goosebumps that runs through your body. It's like when we say, I know this in my bones, that's how we know that gnosis is happening in our body. And so other things like that would be if you have this persistent pull to treat your body as sacred. So it's not that you are trying to heal it or improve it, but that you want to listen to it and you understand that it is a sacred instrument, or that you want to listen to it as the instrument of the oracle. You might notice that there are moments where you were in deep pleasure, deep grief, deep beauty, and you see those moments really as a very spiritual threshold for yourself. So it's rather than feeling that like spirit and sensuality are separate, you notice that one opens the door for you to feel the other. So they're happening simultaneously. You might find that you catch yourself in moments. So it seems like really a very natural capacity for you to hold space for others, for their becoming through death portals, through transformation portals. You were just like over and over, you tend to be that person who is there for people who are going through those moments in their lives, but yourself included. Also, you might just be having this like lived experience of like this tension where you have this like you want to hide something that again is kind of just like coming through you with a particular aliveness. So you have this like pull and feeling of like, I need to be seen, this needs to be spoken, but you have that tension of wanting to hide it. So simultaneously kind of pulled in both directions of like, oh my God, I want to be seen, but I'm terrified. That is actually a significant sign that you might be on this path. This is so common for women who are finding themselves here, or remembering that this is the work they're meant to be doing. It could be simple things like finding those moments of just doing the most mundane things, like the domestic, the sexual, the messy, the embodied, but you're in those very natural life moments, but realize, oh my God, this feels so sacred. So you are just naturally finding beauty, sacred holiness in those very mundane moments. This is something that the priestess is so skilled at doing. An awareness that your nervous system is sensitive to different fields, environments, atmospheres, spoken or unspoken truths, right? That you have that your system is literally like very attuned. And in the awareness of that, you've also learned how to stay present. So this is like that capacity piece that we're always talking about with pleasure, that your nervous system is attuned and has the capacity to stay inside that sensitivity rather than overriding it or running from it. These are all gifts. These are all things that many people will never have the capacity to do. They will override, they will be overwhelmed, they will resist, they will ignore, they will literally choose to walk off this path. Whereas those on the priestess path just are like, even for how hard and difficult and uncomfortable it can be, they just find themselves on the path. So those signs are just like a really great way, a clear way to be able to track how this current might be moving through you as a modern woman, working with a very ancient architecture. And it leads actually really well into where I want to sort of bridge the priestess path with a tool that I've created. And if you have done any of my programs, you will be very familiar with a lot of the phases of this system. I call it the erotic system. And uh, to me, this is just sort of how the modern priestess is able to show up and work if she feels this, her calling is this mission of the priestess of bringing these ancient practices, modalities, rituals, way of living back into current time. Some of us will feel this is literally what we're here for. And it doesn't have to be in all of the ways. It could still just be, one or two of these things. You don't have to check all of the boxes. How the priestess path calls for us, it can vary. What I will speak to, because I saw someone else was like, what is the high priestess? And they were saying the high priestess doesn't exist because there's no hierarchy, which I agree with. My perspective of the high priestess is that she tends to the high priestess does kind of cover many of the branches of the priestess, whereas some of us might just be, well, I'm just here to work with the water priestess, or I'm here to work with the heart portal. I'm here to work with the womb portal. I'm here to work with the earth medicine. So those, are all branches to me of the Magdalene. Some people will work with all of them and have awareness and be trained in all of it. And some will just be mastering one because that's what they feel like their calling is. So to me, the high priestess is the one that kind of gets trained in all of it, which doesn't give us a hierarchy. It's just perhaps she's holding more around the school or the mystery in that way. Okay. So the erotic system has 5 phases. And I believe for me, they really integrate a lot of those branches of the priestess. I'm just thinking, is there more that I want to touch on about Magdalene before I go in? No. So there's 3 systems that are kind of the basis. And then once those 3 layers are activated, then it's like your system is online, and then you're able to begin to express sort of from that system that you've brought online, that aliveness that is activated within the body. So the 3 core elements. The first one is working with the sensual body. And so this is the priestess work that acknowledges that your body is a temple, you are the altar. And so this is where we do a lot of the embodiment work, working with somatics, working with touch, working with the erotic body, with pleasure, with turn on, and using that with the body, with pussy. The erotic mind is the second one. And so also with the sensual body, once we bring our turn on, if you've heard sort of some of my talkings, like once our turn on happens down in pussy, right at the base of our energetic channel. And so that's why our turn on is so powerful. Once we have that system online, our turn on, and if you think about it, like our orgasm is like a pulse, right? And so your orgasm, your turn on functions like a pump. And so that once that pump is active, it can begin to move the wisdom that is literally stored in the portal of your pussy it can move it up that central energy channel. And that's what we want to do. That's like the oracular power of plugging into your eroticism. Is it's like there's a treasure trove of wisdom that exists in the portal of pussy. Like there is a portal there connected to divine wisdom. We want to be able to open that with our turn on so that we can move that wisdom, insight, information up to the third eye, which is where we actually have that oracular gift. It's like moving wisdom up to our awareness. And so that's the second piece, the erotic mind. This is the visionary. This is like the knowing piece, when we can move it from our body up to the third eye, where we are actually seeing, where we are prophesying, however you would want to say it. And so how we can also enhance that is, how do we get to have pleasure with our erotic mind? So it is through imagination, it's through our visioning, it's through our desires, it's through our fantasies. So we can plug into it through any of those channels. I love, how fun, this is the fun, right? Like, let's go to our desires, let's go to our fantasies, because those are just doorways to us being able to see, the greater picture. So sensual body, erotic mind. And then the third is the nervous system. And the nervous system is, we have to think about the nervous system because it is the capacity piece, right? So because we are human, although we are so divine, we are also human, and we do have a capacity. And so intensity will hit. It can literally hit in the process of working with the sensual body or the erotic mind, as many of us have experienced together. So how do we get to work with the nervous system to expand that capacity so that we can stay with the intensity of that which is sacred, really? And like, this is also where we come back to the fact that we know not everyone is here to walk this path, right? So once we have all three of these sort of plugged in and connected, we can then start to bring it into the expression field. Before the expression field, though, we have the womb heart access. So that is where we are really bringing the activation from our genitals up to connecting it with the heart. You can so understand why this is part of the priestess path, right? Also, when we talk about, or if even in your own experience, I really noticed this when I started traveling to different sites in France, where you go to some places and you just feel like it is pure womb energy. It is dark, it is cavernous, it is cave-like. You might walk into a chapel or into a cave, and it literally is that warm red orange glow within it, right? It's like you are blanketed. Some of the places you go are pure heart energy. And I find it's actually, how we see Mary often, in different, there's the red, but then there's like the blue robes that are often associated with her. The blue I found often associated with Mother Mary, but we'll see it with Mary Magdalene also. And I just think, Mother Mary is so much more of a heart energy, but Mary Magdalene and her have trained together. So of course there's heart energy with the erotic priestess. That's why she's so powerful, because it's the sensual and the compassionate. So moving it from genitals up to the heart, that's that inner marriage, and also moving it up that vertical knowing field. Once we've started moving and sort of bringing that energy fully online through your whole energy field, we can then begin to express it outwardly, right? So where like the knowing is starting to happen, we are seeing visions, we are getting downloads, we are feeling aliveness. Our voice feels more online. We have inspiration. Um, Creativity is flowing. Relationships feel stronger. So with that expression field, this is where we literally take, the oracular power of ours and bring it, express it into the world around us. I think this one's really huge for those who do, obviously, if this is your mission, it's it's like the devotional promise that we have to the priestess lineage of, um I am here to give this information. And I even think of, like what even put me onto this path was literally hearing Mary Magdalene's voice say, I need you to teach this. And it was like, whoa, okay. Like, okay, I am being asked to do something. And I feel like this is what makes this path so beautiful is, we don't have all of the books. We don't have, we don't physically have Mary and Jesus here to step into the room to teach us. And so it's like we get to open ourselves as a vessel to be the voices for them. And how insanely incredible it is that their work is so profound that 2000 years later, they have this technology of coming to hundreds of thousands of people at this time with the same request, where women are literally hearing them and going, oh my God, yes, like I am open. I'm open. I will receive, and I will be the voice to bring all of this into the world, through our individual vessels. This is wild. And so that's where the erotic system really resonates with the priestess path, because I do believe she's working with all of these things, right? If we look at what they were doing in the mystery schools 2000 years ago, we know the mystery schools, thank goodness, have also existed, between then and this time. That's another part of why this work is still here, is a lot of it did go underground. But what they've still been teaching is these Gnostic teachings, that the body is sacred, eros and devotion coexist together. They are one and the same. How to stay and have capacity to be present at thresholds of death and rebirth, which are so uncomfortable in the human form, and that we have the courage to speak and love from the heart when we are in a culture that constantly wants to turn away from it. And also this understanding of what was interrupted and what will continue. And again, that consent, like there is a level of consent that happens. We consent to carrying this work. We consent to being here and being the vessel to do this or not do this. And is another, I think, very important thing to remember. We consent to embody this work, as much as sometimes we might be like, why the fuck? Why is this happening? But this is again why the beauty of the courtesan, right? Like we learn to go, right, rupture happens, and I am so masterful at seeing the gold. It is worth it. Okay, so I would love to play with this just so we can kind of feel it, and also so you can see, because I think, if you also want to feel into like, where are you on the path? What part of the path is yours? What are you open to or most alive with? What do you feel resistant to? So, and I can show you also how easy it is to just begin to tap in. Maybe we'll put some music in the background. Can you hear that music at all? Okay. So just with letting that be there in the background. So we're basically just going to walk through the erotic system. So taking a second to just land in your body, If you want to bring one hand to heart, one hand to pussy. Literally making that connection with the sensual body. And this is all that you have to do to bring the sensual body online. Feeling the touch of your hand over your heart. Feeling the presence of your palm, just your palm, not even stroking, just feel what it is like to have a hand over pussy, the warmth, the pressure. And this breath that moves through your body. So easy to forget that we are even breathing in this body. Feel how erotic it can be to witness the sensation of breath entering through your nostrils and moving into your body. Can you feel the warmth of the exhale as the breath exits the body? As you connect with the sensual body, bring your awareness to your pelvic bowl. We hear so much about the Holy Grail. And just see that pelvic bowl. The vaginal canal, like this beautiful stem that holds her. And inside that bowl, feel that golden lining energetically as the cup of this Holy Grail, this chalice, this gateway to connect with the divine. Feel the richness of this space within your body. Okay, and from here, we're going to tie the sensual body to the erotic mind. So just as if you were taking the most luscious sip from this chalice, picture like an inhale, like the sip that you were drawing all the way up from the mouth of that chalice, all the way up to your third eye. What do you fantasize? What do you desire as you picture the richest, most abundant version of yourself sipping this sweet medicine in? Let this sip be this awareness of how alive this world is. What desires, what fantasies lie here for you in the aliveness of this world of manifestation that we live in. Let yourself see the vision of these desires, these fantasies in your mind's eye. And from here, we're going to thread this with the nervous system. As you bring online your sensual body and your erotic mind, there can be different activations. This could be through thoughts or feelings that you start to have as you play with this practice without judgment. Let this settle. into your body, into your nervous system. Take a breath. Let it be long and slow. It might be a way that you wiggle into your hips or roll your shoulders back, wiggle out your jaw. Yes, gorgeous. It might be a yawn. It might be a sound of sweetness through an exhale. Literally how you let yourself just begin to settle into this body. Okay, and from here, we're going to celebrate for a second, whether you feel it or not, having activated those three core pieces, the sensual body, erotic mind, and nervous system. You are here, a channel in this human body. So we're just going to celebrate that there is this sensing. See if you can feel it between both hands, with your hand over pussy and hand over heart. Can you begin to just sense the conversation that exists between the two of them? How there is movement in either direction between both spaces in your body. You might even hear communication. You might hear what they are speaking to one another. You might just see a movement of energy in your mind's eye from one center to the other. Like a charged battery, feeling the connection. And finally, we are going to open the expression field and just notice if naturally anything comes out. Maybe it is a soft sound. Maybe there is a word that you hear repeating in your mind. You could simply just speak, I am available. I am open. I am receptive. I am a vessel for the divine. It can be so hard to get out of our heads and into our body. Let this be experiential over instructional. Even if what you feel right now doesn't feel like what you think you should be feeling, trust that it is perfect. Okay, and then just taking a deep breath in through the nose. An audible ah or just exhale through the mouth. And maybe gently rubbing over your heart, rubbing, so grinding that palm over pussy as you invite your body back into the present moment. And you can roll out the shoulders, invite a stretch, wiggle out the jaw. So easy to just play with this field. Okay, so here we'll just do a little bit of digestion, harvest the process. I would love to just take a second to ask. You're welcome to just share a frame, but I would also love to hear if there was one part of the system that felt more alive for you, or if there was one that felt resistant. Let's just take a second and hear what was there, what you noticed. Take 5.
I don't know when it happened. It just sort of, I went from like, it's like, it was, I just felt like more in myself and more in my like pleasure and body and all of that stuff. I also would love to share one other thing, if I may, that's not direct response to your question. So, in this room that I grew up in, exactly 7 years and like 2 weeks ago, I had this spontaneous spiritual shift that was literally seeing myself standing in the desert with my arms wide open and feeling the sense of openness and resilience to life with all of the energies from the universe coming through me, like the dark and the light. And it was like everything shifted in an instant. I call it like the Big Bang because I've never been the same since, and life has always been different. And even in like the work that's becoming clear for me to do to gather women in sacred circle with transforming our relationship with money and all of this, it's a priestess path with that. And I don't have like all the words for it yet, but I can see it. And then like a year, like 11 months and 2 weeks ago, I had another vision of women standing around a fire in ancient times in a cave and seeing that we all activate each other energetically and that something else comes through that's beyond all of us, and that we need each other biologically and energetically and spiritually. So I'm just really excited to see where it all goes. And this is again like why I love this space so much because I feel like very much at home here. So thank you, Meg.
I love it. You're so welcome. This is why I think it's so important to share too, because again, like because it's so hard to get out of our minds. And it's like sometimes we have these spiritual experiences and we're like, no, that probably, I'm probably just imagining things, right? But it's so, again, powerful to be in these spaces and share, this is what I experienced, this is what I saw, and to realize like how those are really threads that literally call us here together. So incredible. Thank you. Kaya.
Um, First off, Tikva, thank you for that share. I had chills while you were sharing, especially when you were in the desert with your arms open. I could feel it. Wow. Thank you for sharing. Um, I think it's great that I've been dropping into my rituals and practices outside of this because I really felt myself drop into this today and I can feel the juiciness and the aliveness and when you were talking about the pelvic bowl, like right before you were about to give each instruction or sort of like definition or whatever it was, I already knew what you were going to say and what it was going to be. And it just felt so juicy and connected and like I know that our womb space and pussy is holy and sacred, but for so long I was feeling disconnected from as I was saying before, like the spirituality of it. And when you said like it is like the Holy Grail, something just sort of clicked for me. And I was like, oh, yes, yes, it is. Yes, it is. And even when we had like the erotic mind body connection and everything, I wasn't having a lot of thoughts or like not a lot of stuff was coming to me. But I was like, yeah, no, that's okay. Like it doesn't need to be, I'm not supposed to get a full download right now. I feel like I always put pressure on myself to like channel the things and get the download and like make sense of all the things. But I was like, I'm just in my body and it feels really good.
Yeah. Simply, I'm just an open channel.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I think this is the biggest, was it you and I having this conversation? I think it was. I mean, we've had it in many places. So there's actually probably several of you here who have been part of this conversation. But when we put pressure on getting the desire, putting pressure on having the orgasm, putting pressure on having the experience that we think we're supposed to, like, we think we know what the experience is supposed to be like. And this is like the goddess, God, goddess, whoever is watching us, like whatever entity. I mean, you have to think about how adorable we must look in their eyes of like, oh, you sweet thing, you know what this experience is supposed to look like we do not. And the divine loves, like, just literally wants to know, like, that's the easiest way to get answers is just ask, right? Like, I want to know, what am I supposed to do? Can you show me what I'm supposed to do? Can you show me what is possible? Can you show me what you want me to know? And simply, yes, Dana, just be open. And you're right. Like, how silly to think that, oh, it's going to show me right now. Like, maybe you need to get up and leave and walk out of your door and be in a place for the goddess to show you the thing so that you can go, oh, this is the answer, right? Like, because we can't just expect that everything will just, I mean, sometimes it's great when it just plunks and lands and is right in front of us, but sometimes we have to be in a certain place in the world, um, or in front of the sign so that it all clicks. So yeah, it's just asking and then being open and receptive so that when it is presented to us, we see it. Or we've talked so much about like the water wisdom, like, you know, maybe we need to go be immersed in the water so that it's amplified. So then we hear it. So it's just, yeah, it's so much about just staying open.
Yeah, and feeling into that surrender as well. And
Yeah,
like the acceptance of, oh, it's not going to happen right now, but that doesn't mean it's not never going to happen.
100%. And surrender. And then on the other side, the trust and faith that it's open and it's coming. Yeah. It's not the easiest path, but
No,
we
it's very fucking uncomfortable.
no, and it's like it is like a symphony. It's like the instruments. If we just know and trust the instrument, right, it all will unfold. It always does. You're only ever always taken care of. Oh, thank you, Kaya. Katie.
Yeah, well, this is all kind of, it's completely new to me, I suppose. And you might have seen at the end, I was just yawning and yawning and yawning. It's almost like it was too much for me to take in somehow. Although, sort of yesterday I did the thing with Callie and the dragons, and I was open to that experience. And I thought I was open to this, but it was almost like it was just too much somehow. I don't know. So I don't know what to make of my body's response to it.
Well, what I will also tell you, because again, this is where, you know, oh, super cute moment because we think yawning means we're tired. Or so I wonder if that's a bit of the translation that you're having here with like, oh, it was too much. So I'm yawning and yawning.
No, not
Yawning.
that I was tired. It was just like it was just a whole load of new stuff that I was trying to or my system was trying to take on board, I suppose, and not knowing quite where to put it or what to do with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And yawning can be a thing that actually is the nervous system creating the capacity. Like Tikva said, right? Yawning can be actually a sign that your body is totally online. That's
Right,
such a
okay.
nervous system, it's a nervous system response of dropping into the body. Um, and also if you think about the other piece that I was seeing as you were saying this, if you think energetically, uh, because part of the practice was literally moving it from womb up here. And so if there's a lot that has been clogged in your heart or in your throat, of course, your jaw is going to give you the reaction of yawning exactly because it's this truth. Um, it's almost like you've kind of bumped or shifted or cracked or crunched this energetic like ball of yarn that could have been in either of these places. And so the yawn is actually moving it out. So I would actually, if I were you, I would pay attention, or just be open to a level of awareness because what I'm actually thinking is you might have actually, you know, if you lay down on the couch or get into the tub or, you know, just are in a moment of stillness later, you might kind of have a gush of visions or downloads that move through later
Mm.
because
'Cause
especially of
Yeah, because
someone.
it's just like, when you're doing energy work, a yawn is an indication of energy shifting, isn't it?
Right.
I'm presuming
Yeah.
that's a sort of a thing. So that's what I was assuming, partly what I was assuming, that there
Yeah.
was shifting going on.
Yeah. I think it's a sign that energetically, and it could be because sometimes this is what happens, right? Like we open our channel and it kind of feels like the goddess is like opened, like a fire hose on us. And so sometimes like I'll be like that. I'm like, get like 10 downloads and I'm like, I'm overwhelmed. I like, goddess, thank you. And I want all of these pieces. Can you slow, like literally, sometimes I'm just like, I need you to slow down. Like, I don't want the drip, but like just like regular hose style, like not the fire hose. And can you slow down also so I can make sure that I retain all of this? Because yeah, there's the magic works at quantum speed, but we are only human and sometimes we need to remind our guides. So, oh, this is so good. Any other frames before we go? Okay.
I want to
Goddesses.
sing to Sister Goddess Tikva. Can we sing to
Oh
her?
yeah, well, why don't we just do a birthday dance out? We'll do for both.
Oh, okay.
Birthday. You can certainly sing along. Well, let's do, yeah, classic. We'll go Marilyn Monroe. So you can sing if you would like. Anyone. And also before we go, I will just say there's about 2 more weeks of the early bird for Kinky Business. This is if anyone is focused on starting or scaling a business, this is such an incredible container. You will be held for 6 months, 7 if you sign up now, because you actually get immediate access to Champagne Chamber. One of the new goddesses just jumped in and sent me a message. She got off the call yesterday and she said, oh my God, I can't believe I am so in the right place and I can't wait for what is going to come. So, because yeah, Champagne Chamber is so luscious. And the closest thing that you can get to one-to-one coaching between a group program and one-to-one coaching. But we start Kinky Business in September. Early Bird is on for about another 2 weeks. If you have any questions, reach out. There are so many business containers out there. If you are a woman who wants to build her business, like if you are plugged into Turn On, there is no other business container like this one. So would love to have you with us if this is something that you are focused, if business is something you're focused on for the rest of the year. And other than that, I would love to celebrate the birthday babes. So here we go.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.